You never have a moment where you can relax in this film, because from the time that she is attacked by the shark, I mean, first of all, we all know what's about to happen getting into it. So even in the lovely parts where she's surfing and she's getting in the water, we're all waiting for the moment where the attack happens. So you never really get to let go. And then from the attack on, if you can imagine what it would be like to be 200 yards from shore, that's one of the scariest elements. You know, you think of a shark attack happening in deep water where you don't stand a chance, but the fact that she is so close to shore and really does stand a chance. I mean, there's only one thing separating her from survival, and that's just a giant great white shark, you know, with a leg that's bleeding out. So if you can imagine what it would feel like to have been attacked by a shark, the incredible physical and emotional pain you would have to endure just to stay alive with that alone, and then try to fight to make it to land, or fight to make it to stay long enough for someone to find you. It's nonstop. She never gets a moment where she gets to catch her bearings and really absorb where she is. Plus the elements of the sun and the salt water and the dehydration and the weakness from, I mean, she's not out there for a lot of time, but she's, you know, losing a lot of blood. She's not eating anything. You know, it's so taxing on a human body as she's bleeding out and being hunted. There's never a moment where you get to relax and let go, because both of these apex predators are just trying to survive. But because of climate change, you know, you think of shark attacks happening in deeper waters, but sharks are forced closer to shore now. So an incredible amount of shark attacks, the majority of shark attacks now, exponentially so, actually happens within 200 yards of shore. And that's so scary, because you feel like when you're playing in the shore, you're fine, you're safe, you know, you're not out in the deep water. But you're really not. You really have to have an awareness always that you're in the wild. You are in the land of big, incredible, majestic, wild creatures. And if you're wearing a wetsuit, you're dressed as a seal in their land. Well, what's interesting about this survival story is you immediately imagine yourself in the situation and you think, I don't know if I could survive that. But Nancy is not someone who's necessarily equipped to go head to head with a great white shark. She can barely deal with the emotional challenges or monsters that she has in her own life. And here she is facing, you know, this incredible beast. So it's neat to think, wow, you know, humans are incredibly resourceful and they will use any means that they have. You know, she has this surfing watch where she times the shark and the shark's behavior. She's timing the tide because she's on a rock where the ocean is about to take the tide. And she's assessing how close is shore, how close is that buoy, how close is this whale carcass, you know, what do I have around me and what is my greatest chance of living? Because, you know, it really comes down to either she's going to die trying to live or she's just going to die by giving up. She's either going to drown and get eaten by a shark or just try to survive and maybe make it. Luckily, she's a medical student, so it's very helpful when she has a big, huge leg injury. She's able to care for herself in a way that not everyone would be equipped to do, and she's able to assess her situation, know to elevate her leg, know, you know, when she needs to get food or when she needs to get water, or, you know, how symptoms of gangrene, you know, so these things are helpful, but, you know, she's not out there long enough to do much about it other than just try to live. So the role was incredibly physical. I had a wonderful surf double, Izzy. She's the #1 junior surfer in the world, so that was really cool to have someone so amazing pretend like I was that amazing. But other than that, they didn't hire a stunt double until the last 2 weeks of shooting. So, and every single day there wasn't a single scene that wasn't stunt heavy. So they were emotionally heavy, but even in that, I'm doing underwater sequences. I'm in 4.5-foot waves, whether we're in the tank or when I was in the ocean. I was about 300 yards away from shore. They would drop me off on this rock that was 3 feet by 3 feet, and everybody would go back to shore because it was helicopter shots. You couldn't see any boats or anyone around me. So that was intimidating enough. It really is so primal. It's two apex predators, a human and a shark, both fighting to survive, and both justly fighting to survive. You know, the human has been attacked and wants to survive and make it to shore, and the shark is just trying to live. It's been pushed into more shallow water. This human swims up on its feeding ground, this whale carcass, and that's threatening. That's its meal. That's its means of survival. Well, if I encountered a shark, as much as I can say that I, you know, feel so much better after I saw them. I mean, I saw great whites in the water. I was cage diving with conservationists, and as they were studying them and you know, tracking them and doing their best to protect them, and I just was able to look at them in their environment and really be in awe of them and not see them preying or hunting. They were just swimming around beautifully, and I felt so safe, and I didn't feel afraid of sharks anymore. Well, this is an exciting movie to see in the summertime because you've got warm water, you've got a beautiful beach. We shot on Lord Howe Island, which nobody has ever filmed at before, so it's exciting to share a place that is so pure, and there's only like a population of 300 people there, and it really is idyllic. It's heaven on earth. So to share that is really special, and it's a type of movie that, you know, people out at the beach, you think of sharks when you're in the ocean. You can't not, especially surfers. You know, and it has all of that fun excitement. You know, incredible surf. The two boys that I'm surfing with in the film are the top two surfers in Mexico. They were amazing. I was in awe watching them surf with Izzy, and they helped me so much. They were all so generous in teaching me how to look like I was paddling right or duck diving right. But you know, there's really cool, fun, sexy moments, and then, you know, there's also those terrifying, suspenseful, nerve-wracking, edge of your seats moments. And there's really cool, fun, sexy moments, and then, you know, there's also those terrifying, suspenseful, nerve-wracking edge of your seats moments, and you know, then there's also this really grounded, beautiful through line, you know, because family is so important to her and staying alive for her family. And you know, everybody puts themselves in that situation. If I were stuck on a rock with 20 minutes until the ocean took it and I'm bleeding out, what would I be thinking of? And you, most people would probably say they're thinking of the people that they love that they'll never be able to see again. So, you know, when you put yourself in that scenario, it really guts you. So I feel like, you know, this movie on so many levels is something that I think a lot of people can not only relate to, but feel really moved and excited by, because you naturally put yourself in that scenario.